Hey, what's up, NFL nerds? Week 5 of the NFL season for 2019 has just wrapped up, and there have been some very surprising standings so far. There have also been some not so surprising standings, and I want to play a little game here called Contender versus Pretender. Basically, I'm going to be going over some of the teams here who have winning records, or at least close to winning records, and I wanna basically go over and say whether I think they are a serious playoff contender, or if they've just had a lucky few games or just played easier teams to beat. So we're gonna be going with the only team right now that is 5-0, the New England Patriots. Guys, this is kind of a given right here. The Patriots are always contenders. As long as they have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, they will be contenders. Yeah, they've played some pretty easy teams this year, but they've also played the Bills, who have shown to at least have a really tough defense. Patriots are obvious contenders. The San Francisco 49ers, the only undefeated NFC team. I'm going to say contenders. I'm a little hesitant on that because of the division they're in. The Seahawks are very much in that division, and the Rams are still in that division as well. It's a tough division. You never know what could happen in there. So far, the 49ers have played some pretty easy teams. The Steelers haven't looked that great this year. The Bengals haven't looked very good. The Browns, honestly, haven't looked that great either. And the 49ers completely whooped them. They completely destroyed the Browns. They've also played the Buccaneers, who have had flashes of looking really good, actually. So I'm going to say contenders for now, but my opinion could change a little bit down the road, depending on what happens. But I think at least the 49ers have a very, very serious defense. Next is the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to go ahead and say contender here. I know they're in the Patriots division, but they're 4-1 right now, and they have a top 5 defense. They've got some serious talent on that team, and I expect them to at least get a wild card spot. Yeah, I don't think they're going to take the division from the Patriots, but I think they are definitely one of the tougher AFC teams and will definitely compete for a wild card spot. Next is the Green Bay Packers. I'll admit, before the season started, I was not, on the whole Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers bandwagon and, saying that they'll be that great. I believe I predicted them to have like an 8-8 record or something like that. Packers have proved me wrong. They have a seriously strong defense and a really good offense as well. Aaron Jones has proved to be quite the running back this year. They've been winning games even with Devontae Adams out, and once he gets back, oh man, that whole team is looking to be really scary, and I've got to say they're pretty obvious contenders. Next is the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs were off to a really, really hot start. Patrick Mahomes was looking great, but the past couple weeks, week 4 and 5, he seemed to actually be human. He didn't throw a single touchdown in week 4, and he only threw one in week 5. Now, I realize the Colts' defense was all over Pat Mahomes. Um, their pass rush was really good. There were a lot of things that the Colts did very well in that game, and I don't really blame the loss on Patrick Mahomes. I'm still going to say they're serious contenders, but if we see many more weeks of Patrick Mahomes, looking like he has this week and last week, I don't think they'll be at least strong contenders. But as of right now, they're still very explosive and will have a really good season. The New Orleans Saints. I'll admit they've surprised me. I didn't expect them to win this many games with Teddy Bridgewater starting, but he's actually had quite the season with him so far. Drew Brees has gone out, and Teddy Bridgewater has done a very good job at stepping up, and man, they could very possibly win that division. The Panthers are also stepping up, could be contenders for that division as well, but it'll be very back to back, I think, and it will not be easy for either team to win that division. I'm gonna say contenders, obviously. The Seattle Seahawks, I think they are also pretty serious contenders for the playoffs. They're in a really tough division, like I mentioned before, the 49ers and the Rams. But Russell Wilson, he always has his magic going. He's thrown 12 touchdowns for 0 interceptions this year, and he's obviously a top 3 MVP pick so far, and I've got to say, he's one of the most consistent quarterbacks I have ever seen. I've never seen a quarterback to consistently be this good besides Russell Wilson. He's also made a lot out of nothing. He doesn't have that star wide receiver or an insane receiving duo or trio or anything. Yeah, Tyler Lockett is looking to be quite the player. DK Metcalf has looked pretty good. They have Chris Carson to help out and Rashad Penny. But Russell Wilson is something else. Seahawks are contenders. Detroit Lions, I'm going to say pretenders. Yeah, they were neck and neck with the Chiefs and almost beat them. But I'm not completely sold on them yet. They're in a tough division with the Bears and Vikings, who are both 3-2 right now, and the Packers, who are 4-1. I don't think the Lions are going to win that division, and with how tough the rest of the NFC is, I don't think they're going to get a wild card spot either. I'm not sold on them yet. The Baltimore Ravens, pretenders. They were off to a pretty hot start at first. They completely destroyed the Dolphins, and then got a close win to the Cardinals, who really aren't an amazing team so far. They also pulled off an overtime win to the Steelers, who also haven't looked all that impressive yet this year. Their defense doesn't seem to be as strong as it was last year either. I guess I could still see them maybe winning the division. I don't really see anyone else in that division really making a lot of firepower, especially with how the Browns have been lately. Baker Mayfield has not looked good. He hasn't had that chemistry with his receivers. Yeah, Jarvis Landry's had a pretty good season so far, but that's about it. He has Nick Chubb and everything, but as a team, the Browns aren't looking that good. I guess I'll still call the Ravens contenders because of how their division is, but overall as a team, I don't think they're really a playoff caliber team, if that makes sense. Next is the Carolina Panthers. Man, I'm really not sure what to say here. They were 0-2 with Cam Newton. They're 3-0 so far with Kyle Allen, and he's looked really good aside from his fumbles. Christian McCaffrey has had an insane start to this season. They've had a really good defense. Yeah, there's been times where it's bent a lot, but it hasn't broken. I'm not really sure what to say for the Panthers. I could definitely see them getting a wild card spot, but with how tough the rest of the NFC is too, they're going to really, really have to surprise people. I'm going to say contenders, but they're definitely in it for a tough fight for the rest of the season. The Chicago Bears, that defense is still something serious. I'm not really sold on the offense yet. They really haven't had much firepower on the offense. And yeah, defense wins championships, but offense wins games. Meaning the offense is really important during the main season. Well, and it's important in the playoffs too. But against elite teams, the defense is what really wins you those games. But I don't think they have a good offense yet. I'm gonna say pretenders. I think the Packers have that division, along with how the Vikings have looked this year. I was really high on the Bears coming into the season, but I think their firepower is kind of going away, and I don't see them really making a lot happen the rest of the season. Next is the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to say pretenders. Yeah, they put up a tough fight to the Saints, but that was all their defense. Their offense didn't do hardly anything. And their 3 wins earlier in the season were, let's just say, easy wins. I believe they beat the Redskins, the Giants, and I can't really remember who that third team was. It might have been the Dolphins. Don't quote me on that. I'm not really sure there. But they've had some pretty easy games. I'm not taking them out of the race. They still have a very possible shot at making the playoffs. But I'm not 100% sold on them now. They've definitely disappointed me so far. So I'm going to say pretenders. The Texans, I've got to say contenders. Aside from offensive line, they've got to be one of the most complete teams in the whole NFL. They've been in every game they've played. They completely destroyed the Falcons. They were very close in the Panthers game and very close in the Saints game. A few extra points and they could very possibly be 5-0 right now. That team has some serious potential and I'm sold on them. They're contenders. The Indianapolis Colts, man, I don't know that I've seen another pivotal team. They lost to the Raiders last week, and then beat the Chiefs last night in a defensive blowout. Their pass rush was insane. holding the Chiefs to only 13 points. 13 points. I'm not really sure what to say for him. I'm going to say I'm sold on him, but they're very pivotal, meaning they have a lot of really good games and they have a lot of really bad games. Looks like we're a little short on time now, so I'm going to go through the rest of these real quick. The Rams, I'm going to say pretenders. I don't think they've really made their mark on the season yet. Yeah, they're a tough team, but the rest of the NFC and the rest of that division is too tough. I don't think they're going to get a wild card or win the division. Minnesota Vikings, I'm going to say pretenders because Kirk Cousins isn't that great. And with Dalvin Cook being their MVP so far, I think a lot of teams are going to plan on shutting him down more. And when you really shut down their main piece of offense, it really takes away from them as a team. So, I've got to say the Vikings are pretenders. The Raiders, man, they've surprised me. I thought they were going to go 3-13, 4-12 for the whole season. They're already 3-2. They beat the Colts. Then they beat the Bears. They're a tough team. They always start out the games really, really hot and then kind of, I guess, not do so hot the rest of the game. They're kind of, I don't know, you can't play just one half of football in every game you play. When you go up against truly elite teams, you can't depend on winning in one half. So, I'm going to say pretenders, but with a little bit of improvement, they could honestly be real contenders. So, that's what I got to say for them. The last team with a winning record is the Philadelphia Eagles. I wasn't all that sold on them at the beginning of the season, but they are a tough team. They're complete. They have a serious defense. Carson Wentz is, he's solid. I'm not going to say he's, a top-tier quarterback, but he's solid. They have one of, if not the best offensive, well, I'm gonna say one of the best offensive lines in the league. They've got a good running game. They've got a pretty decent passing game too. I think they're gonna win that division now. I'm calling them contenders. But that about does it for the standings for week 5. Let me know your opinions on these teams, whether you think they will be serious contenders or if you think they're gonna, slow down later in the season and have a losing record. Let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Later.